All right. Shawn Porter said he is going to go talk to Terence Crawford and they will mutually, as friends, not pushed, not being forced by anybody else, decide whether or not they would like to fight. Well, it's better than nothing because I suspect they'll both be at the Deontay Wilder-Tyson Fury fight, but let's talk about that in this video. All right, Shawn Porter, former WBC champion, former IBF welterweight champion, says that he will talk to Terence Crawford, who is the current WBO welterweight champion, about the two having a fight. Talk as friends, not forcing one another to do anything, not calling one another out, but just seeing whether or not they want to get together and they want to fight. Okay, sounds a little, mushy to me, but I'll take it. And both of those guys should take it. So you can't say that Shawn Porter is calling out calling out Terence Crawford, or Terence Crawford is calling out Shawn Porter, but they will sit down together, hopefully, and talk and decide that both of them need to do the only dang thing that either one of them really have to do. Okay. Now I appreciate Shawn Porter saying that, and I certainly hope Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford do that. But the fact that these guys are even behaving in that way, in that manner, it just makes no sense to me. Neither one, if your object is to provide the boxing fans the best fights and prove that you're the best and all of that good stuff, there is nothing else for either one of those guys to do that would accomplish that goal as well as fighting one another. And that's it. Now, in the past, the reason that this is something that is, it's a bit of a good sign is because in the past, both of them acted like they didn't want this fight. You had on one side, now I'm not putting blame on necessarily on either one of the guys. I'm kind of spreading it around. I'm trying to spread it evenly to both of these guys. It just so happens that Terence Crawford probably needs that fight more for the reason that I spoke about, proving that you're the best in the welterweight division, getting to what both of those guys' ultimate goals should be, or I believe that their goals are, which is to be the unified welterweight champion. Terence Crawford needs it a little bit more than Shawn Porter does, but it's kind of on both of these guys. So look at it from the Shawn Porter standpoint. Shawn Porter is a former IBF champion. He's the former WBC champion. He says that the fight that he really wants is the rematch with Errol Spence because he believes that he beat Errol Spence Jr. Also, the fight, I have a suspicion that the reason he wants that fight with Errol Spence Jr. is because he probably made a lot of money fighting Errol Spence Jr. because that fight was on pay-per-view and did fairly well on pay-per-view. So he would be making more money fighting Errol Spence Jr. on pay-per-view than he would be fighting Terence Crawford on ESPN, on regular ESPN or the ESPN Plus app, and probably more money than they would on pay-per-view, because I don't know if Terence Crawford or Bob Arum or ESPN would be willing, or excuse me, I think the relevant people are Top Rank and ESPN and or Fox would be willing to take a risk on Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter on a pay-per-view, because neither one of those guys have had stellar viewership or have really huge fan bases. So Shawn Porter, it makes sense that Shawn Porter would want to do the Errol Spence Jr. fight because of those reasons, right? He competed very well with him. He feels that he won, even though, man, come on, dog, you got dropped and got dogged in a whole bunch of rounds. So I ain't trying to hear that, but he did put on a better fight than a lot of people thought he would. He managed not to get knocked out, right? Like Errol Spence Jr. said he was going to do. So there's definitely some positives for him. But I mean, the most important thing though is that fight's not going to happen next. It's not going to happen next. It's not going to happen the fight. It's not going to happen the fight after that. And maybe it could happen the fight after that. But no, it won't even happen the fight after that. So Errol Spence Jr. is not fighting him next. He's not fighting him the fight after next, and he's not fighting him the fight after the fight next. 3 fights from now, because it's either going to be Danny Garcia or his IBF mandatory, or then the next fight is going to be Manny Pacquiao or whoever has the WBA belt. If Danny Garcia winds up fighting Manny Pacquiao and beats Manny Pacquiao, or Manny Pacquiao beats Danny Garcia, whatever the situation is, there would be Manny Pacquiao. And then after that, it would be, according to Errol Spence Jr.'s plan, a fight for the WBO against Terence Crawford. So it's just not there for Shawn Porter. Manny Pacquiao ain't even mentioning Shawn Porter. When he talks about the people that he wants to fight, trust me, a fight with Conor McGregor would happen for Manny Pacquiao before a fight with Shawn Porter is going to take place. So that makes sense. I mean, there's no route there for Shawn Porter. The other options he has is rematch Yordenis Ugas. Maybe try to fight Keith Thurman, but Keith Thurman's not going to fight him. Keith Thurman doesn't have a belt. I don't even know if Keith Thurman's coming back. So what else is Shawn Porter gonna do? Same thing goes for Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is not the next fight for Errol. He's not a fight at all for Manny Pacquiao. Not a fight at all for Manny Pacquiao. He's not a fight. He's not gonna be the next fight for Errol Spence Jr. He's not gonna be the fight. He might be 3 fights away for Errol Spence Jr. But here's the thing. Terence Crawford's standing is diminishing by the day because of the guys that he's fighting. If it winds up being that Errol Spence Jr., it goes this way. Errol Spence Jr. fights Danny Garcia, and then Errol Spence Jr. fights Manny Pacquiao, right? Manny Pacquiao gonna have a rematch clause. He's without a doubt. So if Errol Spence Jr. beats Manny Pacquiao, then he's got to fight Manny Pacquiao again. So there's a chance that might not even happen there. But just say that goes to that Manny Pacquiao doesn't have a rematch clause, and it goes straight to Terence Crawford after that. Okay, think about, or that fight is available to Terence Crawford there. Clarify that, because I want to make a point here. In the meantime, what is Terence Crawford going to do? Terence Crawford did 2 million views when he fought Julius Ndungo for the Unified Championship. I do believe that was Julius Ndungo that he fought on regular ESPN to do the undisputed champion at 140 pounds. I believe that was a fight that he did 2 million. The next time that Terence Crawford fought on regular ESPN, which was his last fight against Igis Kalvinakis, it did like 1.5 million. It dropped by over 1 million, but because of Jeff Horn, Amir Khan, and Jose Benavidez, right? So then he fights Igis Kalvinakis. He's got 2 more fights. Who is he going to fight? There was rumors that he was going to fight Chris Van Heerden. And then what? Alexander Putin? If his numbers continue to go that way or stay around there, why would the PBC want to make that fight? Not talking about why would Errol Spence Jr. want to make the fight. Errol Spence Jr., according to what comes out of Errol Spence Jr.'s mouth, wants to make that fight. But Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr., although he's his own promoter and has decisions he can make in his own career and has definitely a very big voice in it, cannot force the PBC to make that fight. Can't force him to do it. Can't force Fox to air it. Can't force Fox to put it on pay-per-view. If Terence Crawford hasn't done anything in the meantime to continue to build his name or to build his name back up. And if you go through social media, and definitely like in the situation, like from my position, because I talked to the demographic and I ain't talking about the lowest common denominator, the home of the demographic. Shout out to my man LCD, home of the HOD, which is a shot at some trolling comments that some boxing writers did a while ago. But anyway, I talk to the demographic every day, and the support is going down. Most people know that Terence Crawford's an excellent fighter, but they're just more and more with the selection of, not because of something I'm saying, but more and more based on the selection of his opponents, are realizing, man, this guy's not fought anybody. I mean, you cannot ride off of an undisputed championship at 140 pounds forever. Shoot, Alexander Usyk had an undisputed championship at cruiserweight since, I mean, shoot, just last year, maybe the year before last. He's been at heavyweight. He fought Chaz Witherspoon, had to pull out of 2 fights in a row, and trust me, pretty soon it's going to be like, I mean, matter of fact, all the buzz around Alexander Usyk has already left the building. Terence Crawford would be better off fighting Shawn Porter because that solves all of that. It solves all of it. And I'm not saying I know he was willing to fight Chris Van Heerden or whatever, but man, when that rumor hit, there's some, it sounded disturbingly realistic. Like you would expect it. You know what I mean? Like if somebody said that Manny Pacquiao was fighting Chris Van Heerden next, you'd be like, what? That would come all out of the blue, right? Like, why would he do that? I mean, I wouldn't believe he would do that. He's going to fight a top level guy. But see, that's what's starting to happen with Terence Crawford. When people hear a rumor about you fighting some 4th level guy and they take it seriously and they're like, I told you so, I knew this. That tells you, man, that people ain't really not checking for you like that anymore, man. And it's a shame because he's got all the skills in the world. He's got all the ability in the world, all the athleticism that he needs. But hey, man, it is what it is. Anyway, hopefully these guys will get together and talk and make that fight happen. You let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you to everybody that supports the channel and the Patreon in the live streams that we do through the Cash App and the super chats. And thank you to everybody comes by the live streams Monday through Friday and our channel members. With that, let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.